Hello loves and welcome to today's video. Happy Valentine's Day. Because I am single, the only romance I get is in books. So today I'm going to be giving you my romance book recommendations. Some of these are maybe a little bit unconventional in terms of being romance. Storygraph said they're romance. We're gonna go with it. Let's get started. The first one on this list is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is about a woman who inherits her aunt's apartment when her aunt passes away. And when she goes into the apartment, she finds that she's gone back in time 7 years to when this other man was living in the apartment for the summer. And her and this man have a relationship. But then in the current day, she meets that man, and for some reason he seems to be very cold towards her. She's trying to reconcile the past version of him with the present version of him. I thought that this was kind of an interesting premise with that time switch, and I enjoyed how this was written. I thought it was a fairly cute romance. Next on this list is Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane. This is about a woman who's kind of down on her luck, and she agrees to pretend to be married to this man. He's gonna pay her to pretend to be his wife so that he can inherit some kind of money. And when she gets there, she finds that the sister of this guy is someone she hooked up with last Christmas. So this is a Christmas themed romance, but it's still the cold season, close enough. I really liked this. It was steamy at times. I loved the banter between the two female characters. This was an interesting play on the fake dating trope, where the fake dating is not the people fake dating getting together, but fake dating and falling in love with someone who doesn't know that you're fake dating. Next we have Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. So this is a dark romance between two serial killers. So we have our female main character and our male main character, both of whom are serial killers, and they accidentally one year end up going for the same target. So they decide that they are going to start a yearly tradition where they choose a target and have a competition to see who can kill the target first. And through that, they end up falling in love. This has some really gross points in it, but as a horror reader, I was down for that. Though the ice cream, I thought this was really fun. I really liked the world that kind of is built around this romance. I thought it was really interesting, and it does get pretty steamy at some points with piercings. I enjoyed this. I have also read the sequel, which I didn't like quite as much. The third one just came out when I'm filming this 2 days ago. Haven't gotten to that one yet, but at least Butcher and Blackbird I really enjoyed, so I recommend this one. Next, for a bit of an older romance, Outlander by Diane Gabaldon. This is a Scottish romance. There's a TV show about it. I'm sure most people know about it. It is about our main character who's a nurse in the 40s, 50s? I can't remember what actual year it is, but she was a nurse during the war. She goes on her trip to Scotland with her husband, touches a rock, and ends up back in Highland times. She kind of has to reconcile being married in her own time while falling in love with this Scottish Highlander. I am fascinated by Scottish culture. I enjoyed this, even though it's very long. I liked the historical fiction aspect. I liked the romance aspect. There are, again, some trigger warnings in here because it is old-timey war and some brutal things happen with that. But overall, I enjoyed this. Okay, this one's probably a bit more of an obscure pick. Ransom My Heart by Princess of Genovia Mia Thermophilus, aka Meg Cabot. If you've read the Princess Diaries books, in those books there is our main character Mia, who wants to be an author but is also a princess. And in one of I think it's the 8th book, she actually writes a historical romance, and then this is that book. This is a historical fiction, I would say Tudor era, I want to say. I don't know exactly. But the main character's family has fallen on hard times and needs money for her sister's dowry. So to get the money, she kidnaps a man. And she just kidnaps a random man. It turns out he's the Duke or whatever of the region. So they have banter. This one's a bit slow to start, but I enjoyed it by the end, which I wasn't expecting to. I owned this for years. I tried reading this like 5 separate times and could never get past like the first 20 pages. But then once I did actually get into it, I really enjoyed it. So for being like a spin-off from a teen series, this is quite enjoyable and I would recommend it. Next book is This Is How You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone and Amal El-Matar. This is again a bit of an unconventional pick. This is more of a literary romance. So in this book, you have Red and Blue who are on opposing sides of a time war. So it is them essentially going to different points within a timeline and leaving each other notes back and forth. And while initially they're antagonistic, as they reveal more about themselves, they grow closer. And I know this is not going to be everyone's, but if you wanted more of a literary romance, I really enjoyed this, especially with those like lightly sci-fi aspects of it. It's also beautifully written. So This Is How You Lose the Time War. I enjoyed it as a romance. Next book is going back to some popular mainstream ones, and that is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. It's a supernatural romance where our main character is a vampire and her father essentially sells her to be married to this werewolf clan leader, Alpha, to broker an alliance between the vampires and the werewolves who have been at war. And she agrees to do it because her friend went missing and the only clue she has to her friend's disappearance is this guy's name. It is kind of a forced marriage book, but vampires, werewolves. This, ironically, is like the first nodding I've ever read. Considering I grew up in the supernatural fandom on Tumblr, it's astounding I avoided it for this long. It's pretty steamy. I do love a vampire supernatural romance, so this hit a lot of notes for me. If you're looking for some like modern supernatural with some world building elements, this is really interesting. Next book is The Friendship Study by Ruby Barrett. This is a contemporary romance about Lulu, who just had to return to her hometown after having a very bad breakup that ruined her job in the UK. So she's come home. She's basically nepo babied herself into a job at the university back home. And our male main character is Jesse. And he was a firefighter who got injured in a car accident and can no longer do his job. Both of these people feel really disconnected from their like previous friend groups. So they join the Friendship Study, which is a university study trying to investigate how adults can form friendships because it is a challenge. One of the rules of the study is that you cannot get into a romantic relationship with anyone in the study because it is supposed to be a study of friendships. And obviously, it's a romance novel. They break the rules. They have to try and creatively skirt the rules. It touches on a lot of really serious topics, like lack of connection in adulthood, like having a neurodivergence like ADHD, or having a family member with like dementia. So I really enjoy this because it is a bit deeper than some of the romance I've read before, and I like when romance is not just romance. So this one I really enjoyed. Lulu and Jesse. Jesse would probably be, of these picks, my top pick for book boyfriend. Okay, this one is probably the furthest away from being like a true romance novel, and that is High Fidelity by Nick Hornby. So this, I would say, is a second chance romance. It is about a male main character. We follow him pretty exclusively, who has just gone through a breakup with his long-term girlfriend. He's kind of stuck in a rut of his old ways. He worked at a record store and his life is just all about music. And he is going through this breakup and basically does some self-reflection and connects with his past girlfriends to see, like, am I the problem? Have I always been the problem? What has gone wrong in my previous relationships? And that helps him grow as a person. I love this for like the music references. I also just kind of enjoy the introspection of, am I the problem? He's a man, so yeah, he is. There is also a movie based on this book, which I enjoy as well. I haven't watched the TV show. This is kind of maybe a bit unconventional for a romance list recommendation, but it is a really great book So I wanted to include it because Storygraph says this is romance. I'm gonna consider it romance. Next one is not a novel. It is actually a graphic novel or comic book collection, which is Fangs by Sarah Anderson. This is a series of comics about a vampire and a werewolf who have fallen in love and the different struggles that they have with their incompatible lifestyles and how they grow over it and accept each other's differences. It's so cute. I very clearly have a vampire werewolf bias for romance. I was a Twilight girl. I was a True Blood girl. This is my romance genre of choice. This is really cute and I highly recommend it. The art's also really nice. Number 2 on this list, One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. This is about a woman who is living in New York and is kind of not really fitting in, doesn't really feel like she has a direction in life. And one day she is riding the subway and she sees this woman who seems like straight out of the 80s. And that's because she's kind of a ghost on the subway. And these two grow closer as she rides the subway to see her and they develop romantic feelings. And also has a really nice found family as she explores the relationship with this woman. She also grows closer to her roommates and finds her place within her broader social group. I thought this one was really sweet, steamy at times, and I really enjoyed this one. And the final book on this list, I did try to avoid repeat authors, but I couldn't avoid it because Ruby Barrett is my favorite romance author, and The Romance Recipe is my favorite romance that I have ever read. So The Romance Recipe is about 2 women. One is a restaurant owner and one is the chef at that restaurant. And basically the restaurant owner was watching this cooking competition show and saw this chef on TV and was like, I need her for my restaurant. And now it's like 6 months later and the restaurant's not doing too great. There's conflict between the two, not so much about their relationship, but about them trying to get this struggling business going while also fighting their attraction for each other because it is a workplace romance and it might be inappropriate for them to be together. There's also some family conflict of this woman coming to terms with being in a lesbian, bisexual, woman-loving woman sapphic relationship. I enjoyed this. I loved it. I totally found this on a whim just because there was a book launch event nearby and I was like, it'd be cool to go to a book launch. And now Ruby Barrett is basically my favorite romance author of all time. I want more people to read this. This is probably half of the reason I made this video is because I just want people to read Ruby Barrett so other people can enjoy the loveliness that is this book. These are a selection of my favorite romance books of all time. If you need something to pick up this Valentine's Day or next Valentine's Day or just when you want some romance, these are the books that I recommend. If you made it to the end of this video, leave whatever color of heart you want to leave in the comments, or let me know what romance books you would recommend I read. I tried last year to read more romance, had mixed success, so I'm definitely looking for the best of the best cream of the crop to read before next Valentine's Day. If you enjoyed, like and consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.